Some big SBA updates today. First, some long overdue EIDL news. A lot of defaults have been happening. I'll talk about one person's journey to default and the decision they made to let their loan go. And you can weigh in if you agree with their decision or not, and maybe you're thinking about something similar. Second, I'll share a past due payment letter. Some of you may be getting this. Third, I'll share some data on the EIDL payments, where you might be at in terms of paying down your principal or interest. And finally, SBA Administrator Loeffler and the SBA announced an action to end debanking, a nationwide order to stop financial discrimination. I'll talk about what that might mean for you. As always, thanks so much for tuning in and subscribing so you never miss out on anything funding or business related. And if you are a small business owner or entrepreneur and you're looking for funding or grants, two things you can do. Apply to grants on Skip. We're the largest free grants platform in the U.S. We list major grants from corporations across the U.S. you might not find elsewhere. Verizon just had a major $10,000 grant program that just ended. We've had folks on Skip win those grants and many other major grants, and we give out a ton of grants directly. We're the largest direct grants provider in the U.S. In August, we gave out grants to 70 business owners across the U.S. You can see the full list here. And if you want a co-founder to help drive your business, save you time, whether it's funding, growth, marketing, other things you need to do for your business, go to skipcofounder.com. Try our new co-founder. It's like ChatGPT, but for small business owners and entrepreneurs. In that, it's based on information about your business, and it has specific tools you can use to help you grow and fund your business. Links to those are also in the description, and I'll pin it as a comment as well. But let me talk about the first piece here, my EIDL journey to default. Posted on Reddit a few days ago. This person got an original loan of $150,000 in June 2020. Many of you are in that camp because that was the EIDL loan limit early on in April, May, June, before it went up a couple times and eventually up to $2 million in 2021. Then this person got a $350,000 loan dispersed in 2021. That's a total of $500K. $2,600 monthly payment. Any of you resonate with this level, or you have lower or higher EIDL loan amounts? Remember, this was $500 billion given out to 4 million business owners across the U.S. So if you have one of these, you're not alone. And if you don't have one, I'll talk about the other SBA news in a minute. Maybe you're lucky if you don't have one. Please weigh in the comments. This person did pay on time every month. They had a personal guarantee because of the loan amount. They have a trucking company with 20 trucks. They got their payments cut in half in June, so it's $1,300 now. The last half payment will be in December, and they say they won't pay in January, maybe sooner. They're going to talk to their accountant. They're basically saying, we're not going to pay you anymore. And they say the current balance is $493,000. I'm going to show you some incredibly surprising, maybe upsetting data in a minute. Most people have barely put a dent in their original EIDL loan balance. And if you go back and look at what you've actually paid, you're going to be like, wow, I paid that amount and I'm only this far. So the last paragraph, they bring up, what might my consequences be? Maybe my personal credit gets hit. Maybe my social security gets hit. I'm 41 years old. Maybe I never get a tax refund again, but that's okay. I've never got a tax return. Maybe I lose everything and I'm living on the streets in a year. In that case, I'll post from the public library and let you know where I went wrong. Now, of course, I'll say it again because we're getting into the nitty gritty. This is not tax or financial advice by any means, but I do want to hear your stories now in 2025. We're over 5 years on from the original issuance of these loans. We do know this is still affecting a ton of you. And of course, I've been covering here on this channel the COVID EIDL loans since they went live in spring 2020. Where are you at today when it comes to COVID EIDL loans, and how are you feeling about it? This is a chance to check in. You know, when I would post EIDL videos weekly or a couple times a week, I said, we're going to be here with you until 2050. That's when a lot of these loans are due. We're going to be with you for the entire journey while we build lots of other things on Skip, which besides the grants I mentioned, it has lots of other financing options too. If you are in a position now to go after other term loans, maybe SBA 7A loans, 504, or other lines of credit, credit cards, other things that can help your business grow. Now, this is an example of a past due letter. Dear borrower, this is an official notice that the SBA intends to refer your debt to the U.S. Department of Treasury as you are considered a delinquent borrower or guarantor on a loan made by the SBA or made by a lender. By law, federal agencies such as SBA are required to refer delinquent debtors to Treasury for offset of federal or state payments and other collection actions such as administrative wage garnishment. If their debts become more than 120 days past due, this debt is seriously delinquent. The poster for this is an S Corp. They had partners. This came in the partner's name, not their name. They're wondering what they should do. Of course, I've covered everything that the SBA has done to date. During the previous administration, there were a number of programs such as the hardship accommodation plan. Since Kelly Loeffler took over, they've eliminated hardship accommodation plan. We're about 5-6 months into that elimination now. That meant no renewals, no new enrollment. How has that affected you? But the bottom line is when you go to your SBA portal and see your balance, you will probably be surprised about where your balance is. Here's one example. This is around $1 million loan. Payments regularly made since 2022, first around $5,000 per month. Then it was increased to $7,000 per month, as you see here, to try to pay down the principal more aggressively. Yet it took around $100,000 in payments just to get rid of the interest backlog and start paying down the principal. $100K of around this $1 million loan. That's because of the around 30-month deferment that folks had. All that time, interest was accruing. Now around half of the $7K goes towards the principal. The rest still going towards interest. And if you look here, initial approved amount, the $150K, just like the other person who's deciding to go into default. The total approved loan amount, $995. As you see, the outstanding balance, $960,000. 5 years on, only a dent of around $40,000. Yet over $180,000 has been put towards this loan. Only about $40,000 has gone to the principal so far. Are you in a similar situation? You know, we still have our free EIDL balance calculator. Type in your details. You can see what your interest payments will be, especially if you increase payments or decrease payments. What does that do to your payoff date? Free tool, try it out. It'll also track interest over time. If you want to try to wrap your head around this, EIDLbalance.com. It's free. Finally, in case you missed it, Administrator Law announces action to end debanking. The SBA issued letters to its network of 5,000 lenders nationwide, directing them to stop discriminatory banking practices and reinstate otherwise eligible borrowers who were denied service because of their political, religious, or ideological beliefs. She underscored how the financial system was weaponized against law-abiding Americans during previous administrations when federal regulators pressured banks to freeze or close accounts, deny loans, or refuse services to ideological components. Now, I didn't do a deep dive here into the data behind this. I don't exactly know the extent of the problem, but certainly the premise is great. We want more banking for more people. Doesn't matter where you are in the US or your background, etc. We want you to have options, and I think the SBA is making that clear here. I hope that we see some of the positive effects of this in the coming months. More small business owners getting more help to build your businesses. And of course, lots of private options out there as well. Besides sites like Skip pointing you to grants and other information, there's plenty of resources out there. Always encourage you to be looking to know your options. There's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur. SkipCofounder.com to try out CoFounder, to type in things like, what are my financing options today? And you could put in a little bit of your revenue and history, and it will give you some realistic suggestions or things you can do to get in a better position. As always, thanks so much for tuning in. Most importantly, stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.